Okay. All right. Hopefully the mic is now working. I've been meaning to do a video on an experience I had, my alien abduction experience, and it's been interesting because last time I thought about making a video, it's just been weird that I went and saw what Nick Dutch's last video is, and I know it might look like I'm copying him. It's just been, maybe we're somehow psychically entangled. I don't know. But the funny thing is, I've just been thinking about this, and then I went and I looked to see what Nick Dutch had on, and that's what he's talking about right now. So trust me, I'm not copying him, or it's just been weird lately that I think about something and then go see what he's up to, and But he also had this confrontation with a skeptic, and first I want to, before I get into my alien abduction experience, talk a little bit about the discussion that he's been having. First of all, I want to say Nick is a dick. No, not really. I mean, he can be, but in a fun way. Not because he really is a dick. What it is with Nick is he's an entertainer. And part of wanting to get your message across is having a lot of bravado. And, I even misunderstood this at one point. And that's why he's so much fun to watch. He's also very intelligent and very informative. I, on the other hand, am not an entertainer. Ask my friends and family. Honestly, they'll all tell you, no, he's not at all entertaining. But one thing that they will tell you, I am very much a stickler on having every little detail of understanding about something or about what truth is. I'm almost to a obsessive compulsive disorder level with wanting to understand how things work. And so, as an American, and being, hip deep in the bullshit of our politicians, we learn to scrutinize language. So when I see a title like "Alien Experiences Are Real," I don't interpret that as aliens are real. I interpret that as the experience is what's real. And that's where I think I don't know, I'm not trying to be a peacemaker or anything between these two, Nick and the skeptic, or anything lame like that, but I just wanted to offer up a different perspective. When I look at this kind of thing, to me it is about experience. This actually, I'm really excited because this plays into how I wanted to explain my alien abduction experience. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the skeptic employed Jung at a certain point in his argument, which, to me, I don't understand, how that is in any way an explanation, because, I mean, I admittedly only have a layman's understanding of Jung. And by the way, that's how we in America pronounce it, to the skeptic. I'm not sure, if other countries pronounce it differently. I've always heard it pronounced Young, not Jung. But, maybe it's one of those Britishisms. At any rate, my understanding that Jung, even though he could make an argument that it's a phenomena of the mind, aren't all things a phenomena of the mind? I mean, from Jung's perspective, if you talk to a schizophrenic and you really want to understand his world, you don't try to explain to him that he's delusional. You accept what he says is true to him in his real world. And that's how he's got, he was the first to make a lot of progress with schizophrenics because of that. I don't want to be wishy-washy in the context that reality is anything we think or make it. I think that there's an extreme point of view about that, particularly in New Age, and it's really disturbing. But there's an iota of truth to it, nonetheless. The law of attraction, the idea that you create your own reality at some level is true, but then again, there's all these different conflicting views. Why would then, two different people who want the same thing, and there's only one of them, something's got to give. Even, Terence McKenna, who's somebody who's fairly studied on, you know, makes this point that maybe our mental world just has a push on a world that we've all at some level agree on. Well, these are just loose explanations that I'm just coming up with the top of my head, but as I understand, Jung believed in the collective unconscious. So to offer up an explanation that, you know, Jung had a theory that these are, you know, archetypes of the mind like so many other things, that doesn't mean that they aren't real experiences, number one, and number two, that is set apart from the possibility of how real an abduction experience is, or an alien experience is. Also, this reminds me, I mean, there's so many things about the alien experience that parallel astral projection. Now, the funny thing is about astral projection, and this is why I used to laugh at the people who had alien abductions, because I thought, oh, these silly people, you know? When you wake up from a dream, you remember it as a dream. It's as if there's a part of your brain that says, this is where all my memories of dreams are going to be stored. Now, whether that's neurologically true or whether it's just, you know, metaphysically true, whatever the mind is, we have a recollection of what dreams are. We have a feel for what they mean and how they exist. When you have an out-of-the-body experience, like an astral projection, it's usually very vivid, and when you wake up, you don't remember it like it was a dream. You remember it like it was a reality. It is not stored in that dream cabinet. It is stored in your reality cabinet. Now, when I first started having out-of-the-body experiences, I was intelligent enough to say, well, okay, it's obvious that I didn't, in reality, do these things because they're impossible to a degree. It might be possible that there's this experience that I had. I could analyze it after the fact, and I know that my mind could be tricked. Therefore, I felt, you know, a certain superiority to these people who have alien experiences. But there's something different with the alien experience. And this is something else that McKenna talks about, that there's usually some clue given. And people can manufacture clues. I'm well aware of that. My experience, well, I'll just go into my experience right now. I'll explain what happened. I had the sensation that I was on board some kind of spaceship. And all I can remember is there was metal above me and some lights. And that was it for the actual experience. Now, people who study these things will tell you that, you know, amnesia is part of it, and they, you know, the people who are really down the rabbit hole say, well, they inject you with things that make you forget, whatever. But this is the part of it that really plays with my head. When I wake up, I thought, that was weird. I'm left with this profound feeling that I was on a spaceship of some kind. Very low in detail, you know. I hope, you know, the probing thing didn't happen. I didn't have any weird memories like that. Just very light on details, but a very profound sense that that is where I was. And I thought, well, this is just like those astral projection experiences. Sometimes things so incredibly amazing happen that you know they can't be real. And in other times, you know, you're somewhere in between, but you can use your analytical mind and say, listen, that didn't really happen. You know, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. And so as profoundly certain as I was that that's where I was at, I also had enough cognitive ability to be my own skeptic and say, well, it's just really weird. And so I looked at my watch. I wanted to see what time it was. And my watch was on upside down. I thought, oh God, you know, this is exactly how they say it happens. You know, people wake up and parts of clothing are different, or are missing, or on inside out, or weird things like that. So now I'm really starting to get You know, but I thought, wait, I remember, you know what, I probably just put it on backwards before I went to bed, because I had taken a shower before I went to bed that night, and, well, then I remembered, no, because I remember before I went to bed, I looked to see what time it was before I went to bed, and it was on right side up then. So, the reasonable thing to think about is, my watch, and this happens on occasion, the watch I had then, would sometimes come off my wrist, and when I'd feel that, I'd wake up and put it back on. So, I know it's kind of a stretch to think, well, maybe my watch must have come off, and in my sleep, I was able to locate my watch, put it back on, work the latch, and do that and either not have memory of it or do it in my sleep, which is a really, really complicated set of muscle movements to do. So that seems kind of far-fetched, but not at all far-fetched as to believe that maybe I was abducted by aliens. Come on now, so it's obvious that there might be something going on with the subconscious. I had once heard somewhere, and don't ask me to find the source for this, but of all the experiences, all the neural inputs that are coming into our brain, there are something like 400 times as many as we can be consciously aware of. That doesn't mean that those inputs aren't somehow affecting your brain. It just means that the conscious part of your mind is only aware of them. So what else is going on in your brain? What other things can your brain be doing to manipulate you into tricking your consciousness into thinking, you know, is it possible? And this is something that does go on. So I try to keep an open mind. And what I like about this, about Nick Dutch, is that he very much pushes this skepticism. And he very much says that, you know, as when I said that you should be your own skeptic, at the same time, it's what I like about him is I think that we both share this one thing, that we both have a foot in two different camps. And when a skeptic comes out and is snarky like this guy was, you know, yeah, you know, Nick kind of blasted him. I can't say that I blame him. At the same time, I don't understand the guy using Jung as a defense. To me, if anything, Jung is an argument to state that these experiences are real, that the collective unconscious may have a reason to project that, and ultimately, how do we know what is real anyway? I mean, the analogy I thought of is, whenever I visit my dad, the TV's almost always on the channel that has all the westerns. And once in a while, you know, they'll turn it to another channel, a news channel, a channel of, you know, for, you know, some other show, what have you, a cooking show on occasion or something like that. But primarily it's westerns. And it makes me wonder if maybe, you know, if you use that TV as an example of what reality is, the channel it's turned to is primarily westerns, but once in a while it jumps to a different channel that projects a different reality. So I have to wonder if our consciousness, there's no more reason to believe that this experience is any more real than any other from the perspective of experience. From the perspective of physics, you can try to argue that our mentality, that our psyche is an emergent property of our brain. Good luck with that. Nick, I'd love to hear your comment, because you said you studied neurology, I think, or something, a field close to that, and these neurologists all tend to think we're zombies. But what if this idea that, you know, in this world where there are spaceships, you know, I mean, if it was my TV, it would be on the Sci-Fi Channel most of the time. And that would be the predominant reality. And why is this? And why do we accept this as a predominant reality? What causes us to come back to this channel? One of the things that I think is a brilliant example is physics. You know, we have an understanding of physics. That's the real world. You hit a pool ball and it hits, you know, one pool ball, force, acceleration. You can calculate all this, and that's science. You know, you never hit a pool ball and it turns into 3 more pool balls, and one pool ball goes forward in time and the other pool ball goes backwards in time, and another just spirals north. That doesn't happen in the world of physics. But it does. It happens all the time in the world of subatomic physics. When 2 particles collide in subatomic physics, all sorts of weird shit happens. So why is it that we, you know, at the macro level say, well, because we can see, you know, something solid. Imagine that it's solid, and we know better. We know that solid things, if you were to take all the particulate matter of my computer and reduce it without the space in between it, it would be too small to see. Everything's made up most. So why do we accept that this particular experience is the channel that is the real channel? I'm not, once again, I don't want to be so loose in my thinking that I think that this is an argument to disprove reality. I think that what it does is it presents the idea that truth may have to be given up on, that conscious experience may be a better way of looking at how our world exists than to state that certain experiences are true and certain are false. And that's, you know, I wanted to put my 2 cents into this argument and explain about, you know, my abduction experience, and just, you know, make the point that you know, to the skeptic and to you know, anyone else out there, how you present yourself also is important, and understanding the perspective of where someone else is communicating from. And I am all about wanting to expand the argument, to get the argument going in a direction that is going to lead to an enlightenment, not proving I'm right or someone else is right or someone else is wrong. And that's just where I'm coming from with this. So yeah, I kind of took a poke at Nick because his name rhymes with another word, but you know, he's a good guy, and this skeptic guy, I'm going to have to watch more of his videos to see if he's, you know, if he's someone who's a genuinely intelligent person or just a YouTube troll. So we'll, you know, that remains to be seen. I'll give him a chance at any point. But yeah, I just wanted to put my 2 cents worth in, and I need to get off of this frequency of Nick Dutch because I need to get back in my own thing. But I just know, you know, next time I get an idea, I'll probably, I don't know, off my frequency, man. Well, hey, peace out.